Las Vegas at the GCA show. After 2 years of hiatus, we're back in Vegas. World's largest cardboard trade show booth. Live here in Martinsville, Indiana. Live from Norwood Royal Cigars.
When you guys said, you know, we want you to come on the show once a month, I was like, dude, this is it.
Happy afternoon here from cloudy Florida.
Happy afternoon.
Happy afternoon.
Presented by Kristoff Cigars, along with Hiram Solomon Cigars, and coming to you live from the Corona Cigar Company studios.
Oh, and hey, we're moving. Whoa.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another great cigar and pipe show.
Hey, we're on the boats here.
Yeah, you know what? We're rocking. And you know, we're going to be rocking with our fantastic guest tonight. We are excited to have him. We've got a bunch of his cigars, and we're going to be talking about all four of us are smoking a different cigar, and we're excited about having him on board. And so far, the reviews from down south in Florida have been spectacular, as we understand it.
I can tell you right now, this thing's really delicious.
And you know what? I'm going to say the same thing, jump the gun. But everybody, welcome. And I ask you to please hit the share button right now. Let's get the word out, and let's get everybody on the show so they can listen to our special guest tonight. And we're pretty excited to have him. He's a traveling man for sure. He's quite busy. He's got a lot on his plate, but he found some time to jump on board. And we're going to talk to John.
He's
shortly.
traveling. I'm traveling. Everyone's traveling.
My mind travels. We're always traveling. So everybody, please hit the share button and sit back, grab yourself a smoke, grab yourself a spirit. We're going to have a good time tonight. For all you newbies out there, I'm Ronnie Pecorini. This is my man, Kyle Jesso.
Actually, if you talk to Joey G, apparently my new name's Lancero Kyle. So
Lancero
look at that.
Kyle.
Yeah, there we are.
Look at that. Joey's got some good eyes. It's nice to be young. We got Tim Garrett, the president of the Chicago Pipe Club, jumping on also. We got a lot of yous jumping on, so please hit the share button. Meantime, down south, we got my brother, retired Bob, hanging out down there. And the one, the only, the Chooch Master himself, Cousin Frank.
Hello.
Hello.
I just want to let everybody know, if you're on Facebook and you put comments in, there's an issue that StreamYard is having with comments from Facebook. So go over to YouTube or jump on Rumble. Hey, subscribe to us on. No, we're on YouTube. They put us in jail last week.
Oh, they put us in jail.
We went in, for 1 week. They slapped our.
Even having Joey G on, they still putting us in jail. You know, Joey muscle on us.
Okay,
jump over to Rumble. Give us a tumble on Rumble.
A tumble on Rumble. I like that. Let's get ready to tumble.
So yeah, hit the share button. Let's get everybody to know our special guest here tonight. Again, hey, there's a lot going on also, right? I mean, we got a lot going on.
And I've been corrected by Joey G. It's the Jesso Lancero.
The Jesso Lancero. You know, you'll becoming somebody.
I need to make a cigar, and that's going to be my cigar.
Okay.
The Jesso Lancero.
I heard White Owl's looking for new products.
Yeah. Or
okay.
Blackfoots.
Hey, Frank, why don't you tell the crowd where we're going to be? What's going on with the four of us?
You know, this is going to be, when we talk about travel and we talk about cigar experiences, we will be traveling to none other than the oldest cigar factory in the country. We will be at the J.C. Newman factory for a special tour. And get this, Bob, they are going to not only take us around the factory, they're going to have us roll cigars. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine? I can't wait for the footage for that, because Bob can't see as it is. Ronnie's fingers are too big. He's going to have problems. So you know, me and Kyle's cigars are going to come out beautiful.
Oh man, listen to this hype.
And I'm going to tell you this, and this is going to be my second cigar rolling class I've taken now. So,
right, so you're going to be experienced. You have
no. Bob and I have rolled too, just to let you know. All
count.
right. What?
Weed doesn't count.
No. I never rolled. I'm talking about Bob and I have rolled
Not
cigars.
talking about bamboo either.
No. That's all right. All right. You know.
Oh, that'll be on Friday. So next Friday, we will be at the factory.
It is
We'll
next
probably-
week. I can't
I
get
know,
over it.
it's
I mean,
crazy.
what the
We'll
hell?
probably start with interviews somewhere around 10 o'clock, 10 or 11 o'clock on Friday.
Something like
Wait a
that.
minute. Wait a minute. Slow things down here. What's today's date?
It's in a week.
It's next
Yeah.
week. It's
Yeah.
next
It'll be-
Friday.
It's going to be next
It's
Friday.
the
next
following
week.
Friday. Okay.
Yeah, not this Friday. Next Friday. That's why I said next Friday, Ron.
Next. Well, next Friday is the next Friday. Just to let
Oh,
you know.
next Friday is not this Friday.
2 weeks.
It's this Friday.
2 weeks is
2
not.
weeks. That's
2
makes
weeks
it a
is
lot
not
easier.
correct.
10 days will be down here.
Hey, all I'm saying is this
Hey,
Friday, I will be on the Bourbon Trail.
Yes.
And then a week after that, then I'll be
Then
in
you'll be traveling
Florida.
again. That's right.
I'm everywhere.
You're coming to Florida.
Yeah. So this Friday, Kentucky Bourbon Trail for myself, and then the next week we're in Florida.
So
We're doing this.
the 3.5 paisans are going to be down in Florida. All right. There we go.
So that's next Friday.
That's Friday.
Saturday, we have the Blanco Herf, and that'll start around 1 o'clock. And that is a special event because we're right there at his warehouse. And he usually has about 100, 150 people, food, booze,
Booze
great
and food,
interviews.
cigars.
Last year, we had Santa. We had a special interview with Santa.
Yeah, Santa was there.
You know,
Yeah.
Yara actually sat on Santa's lap.
Yes.
So you never know what you're going to find
I
on
think
our
she
show.
woke Santa up.
She did. She did.
Yeah. Santa was flying high.
But that's what's happening. I mean,
And going forward, I'm going to need all our peeps out there, our fans and everything to pray for me because starting November 1st, I am doing sober November. So I will not have another drink past the Bourbon Trail until December comes around. So
wow.
Oh, that's when you.
I need some prayers.
That's when you go to jail. You got to turn yourself in.
I don't see a hand. I see an
Why would you do that to yourself?
I need to reset my body.
He needs to cleanse.
Well, take a good shower.
I don't want
Shower in bourbon on the Bourbon Trail.
That's why I'm gonna go gangbusters this weekend, and then I got to reset. I gotta take.
Blow his load this week.
It's going to take a while for it to build back up.
All right. Well, as you can see, folks, the crew is on the move here. Lots going on, and we're pretty excited about it. And, well, you know what? It's that time, Frank, that I'm going to say, let's go to our sponsors because we have our special guest in the green room. Another
Go to Ronnie. Did Bruce log on?
No, by the way, for all you who are going to be missing Bruce Stark tonight, Bruce Stark has got an 8 o'clock meeting at the church. So, because of God, he's going to be held up. He might not make Smoke the Chooch.
Oh,
That will
wow.
give you guys a chance to win.
He's got to tell us when to take the breaks.
So everybody must know that tonight, make sure you get on. We're going to talk about this man's cigars, and they are special. And I'll tell you why when we come back with our very special guest. I'm going to say it in Italian because he's going to love this. Giovanni Garafalo il Terzo. Il Terzo.
Bravo. We'll wait for Giovanni coming on here soon, and I'll say it in American, right? John Garofalo III. There you go. All right, folks. So stand by, hit the share button. We're gonna have a great hot show coming up, and if you like music, hey, you're gonna learn a little something tonight too. You too. Take care. Go, Frank.
Take care.
At Norwood Royal Cigars, we have the biggest walk-in humidor in the Midwest. Our 1,500 square foot humidor is home to almost 4,000 different cigars that will meet the need of any cigar enthusiast. We have boutique blends to the more traditional selections and everything in between. From the novice beginner to the aficionado, the knowledgeable staff at NRC will find the perfect cigar for you. Located on the northwest side of Chicago, we want to be your shop for all your cigar wants and needs. As always, at Norwood Royal Cigars, light it, smoke it, love it.
Experience the magic of Rockefeller Cigars today. With 11 years steeped in tradition, passion, and mystery of the leaf, Rockefeller has a cigar just for you. Be like the greatest magicians and make Rockefeller cigars appear in your lineup with any of our 4 lines: the Nicaraguan, the Dominican Blue, the Vintage Gold, and our new LE, the Art of Magic.
Cigar in the Bottle is 2 palate-pleasing gifts in 1. A specially blended Grand Palmier XS VSOP Cognac is elegantly contained in patented numbered bottles. Winner of back-to-back medals at the LA Spirits Awards, Cigar in the Bottle inventor Forbidden Johnny teams up with Vartan and Hendrik Kellner for this custom-blended Vartan Reserva cigar, well-preserved in a hand-blown glass chamber featuring Boveda 2-way humidification.
It all begins at the very first climate-controlled Rodriguez Olivan cigar factory located in the Dominican Republic. Our 2 major brands include Don Olivan, which are boutique cigars suited for that individual who takes great pride in something unique. BAMF is our armed forces cigars designed for that badass mother effer. Not only are you smoking a great premium cigar, a percentage of the proceeds is donated to our heroic men and women in uniform.
And we're back. All righty, everybody.
No, I was going to have a big surprise. He was going to be on as soon as we got back.
I know he didn't know.
I wanted to make him
Good
jump.
thing he didn't have to go to the bathroom or
Good
anything.
thing. I would have saw him coming back. But that's all right.
Yeah, there you go. Forget about it. All right, everybody, hit that share button, man. It is that time. That time indeed. And thank you, John, for joining us this evening. I know you've
Thanks for having me, man.
And we're going to have a lot of fun here. We're looking forward to it. And want to thank you for the samples.
Yes.
That you sent us. Because actually, we are all smoking a different cigar tonight.
Not Sam. Not according to
Lancero. Kyle smoking Lancero.
yes.
Kyle was smoking the Lancero.
So you
Better
made
Gloria.
intro. So my nickname in my store is Johnny Lancero. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My
It's like
favorite
we're family.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the best size there is. The best smoke, the best taste.
you know, it's so subjective. I mean,
It is.
It's all a matter of opinion.
it's why Baskin Robbins has 32 flavors, right? It's
There you go.
something for everybody. And you know, when you start to learn that different ring gauges change a blend and blah 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 blah, it's it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. Sounds good. So let's talk a little bit about you, John.
Okay.
Let's talk about it. We'll go with the cigar first and the music later.
I want to get to John's business acumen, because I read a little bit about John
Okay.
and where he studied. This
Oh.
man is no fucking slouch. Okay?
Oh.
That wasn't the penitentiary, was it?
He lives in New Jersey, but the man has some roots in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
He went to Harvard Business School. Let me tell you, not everybody can do that. Bob,
Silly boy.
Yeah, but I was the custodian.
he was the custodian there. Hey, it's nice. You got a good business degree, though. so tell me about your childhood. Did you ever think about, like, shit, I'm going to be going to Harvard? That's fucking amazing. I just said.
Well, he's in the waste management business. That's why he's there.
We'll talk about that later. Just real quick. My background. Both my parents were educators, right? So school was a really important thing for them. Education was a really important thing, and boy, I really disappointed them. I hated school. I absolutely hated school from the early years up until my last day. I hated it, and I did it. My dad, I was in business with my dad for a number of years before he passed away, and he taught me something pretty interesting. He said, do what you hate first, and do it with gusto and passion, and get it out of the way, so that way you can savor and enjoy the things you love to do, and take your time doing it. And that was the way I treated my education. Was I fucking hated it. Pardon my language. So I mean, I hated it, but I got through it. I did what I needed to do, and I certainly met a lot of interesting people along the way. But I would say that as a man of years old, I learned,
That's right. You're still young to us.
I learned a lot more from everyday people that I meet and continue to do so. And so, yeah, I mean, school is I teach my children that education is valuable, but it's not for everybody, and it's not.
Right.
It doesn't make the man or the woman. I mean, I'm a big. I don't know if you guys ever follow Gary Vaynerchuk at all. Gary V, as he's known on social media. I mean, I like him a lot. I follow him a lot. He's all about being real. And I like to think I embody a lot of that philosophy in everything I do. And as you're getting to know me and have read up on me, and we're going to talk tonight, I've never been a guy that kind of like swims in one lane. I've always had my hand in a lot of different things. And it's not that I bore easily, but I guess I bore easily. And I just like to do a lot of different things. And my family would tell you I'm the same way. It's just how I'm wired.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I definitely understand that wiring.
They call that ADHD nowadays.
There are on the line. Re-up that prescription, please.
No, I mean it's awesome because like I have unfortunately I have like friends who have that ADHD and stuff, and they find themselves. I'm not talking about you,
Oh, not a
but
friend.
now that you brought it up, so
Now that you mention it.
yeah. But they find it, going through their everyday work life and everything. They get so distracted easily. They'll start this project, then they'll start another project, and before you know it, they got about 5 to 10 projects in front of them, just working through it and stuff. And God bless. I mean that I can't even imagine trying to tackle on that much in my lifetime and everything. So I mean,
Multitasking.
Yeah.
Well, they say do what you love and love what you do, right? And if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. Blah 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 blah. There's a lot of that's true. I mean, I had many years in my professional life that I was head down doing a job that I didn't like, but I needed to do it because I needed to put my kids through school, and I needed to put, and cigars. I've always been a cigar lover and a cigar smoker. And had you told me even 10 years ago that I'd be in the cigar business, I would say, right. But, it's one of those things when an opportunity presents itself. Sometimes you take that opportunity and run with it, and sometimes you don't. And, I've been blessed to have some success. I've had a lot of failures too. And I learn everywhere I go. And the cigar business is no different. I'm a retailer, and I'm a blender, maker, producer, and I make mistakes every day, and I'm going to continue to make mistakes, but I'm having fun along the way, and we're making some decent cigars, and
a little more than decent.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about these decent cigars. I mean, we do experience a lot of different cigars here on the show. We're what's nice is when we get something, we're like kids.
Yeah,
Christmas.
aren't we all?
We're looking at this bag and we're like, oh my God, he's got so many different samples for us, Bob. What are we going to try first?
It's like Christmas morning.
It is.
It was.
And so we immediately, earlier,
a couple of hours ago,
we reached in and we just like, all right.
We opened the first box.
Exactly. And we pulled out your Habano Rothschild. Okay.
Yep.
Took it out of the cello and was like, okay, Barnyard,
Barnyard,
Absolutely.
100%. I'm like, oh, I'm right now. I'm enjoying, a little bit of pig shit, but in the most beautiful way. Hey,
wow, I don't think I've ever heard a cigar described that before.
Well, that's Frank.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And earthiness to it.
And
And
earth,
real
for sure.
earthiness to it.
for sure. But then Bob lit his.
Yep.
I was like, whoa.
The aroma.
The aroma
the
just
room note was fantastic.
fantastic.
It was.
I mean,
Totally
on
fantastic.
the Lancero side, I'm getting notes of like a cocoa, a little bit of like nuts, in there. And there's like
looks like you're smoking the Sumatra.
yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like the
Yeah.
Sumatra. Yeah.
Sumatra, Bella Gloria.
Lancero, not to pivot away from the Habano, but the Lancero I made in only two blends. I made it in the Sumatra and the Maduro blend. I've been toying around with doing it with the Habano as well, but we'll talk about that blend in particular and why I didn't. Excuse me. I did the Lancero in those two blends primarily because I thought the wrapper on those two cigars was the most interesting. And because of that thin ring gauge and you're getting that primary wrapper taste, that's why I went with that. And that cigar is called, I don't know if you noticed it on the tag, that cigar is called the Bella Gloria. And that I named that after my mom and my wife, two very important women in my life. That
awesome.
So that's why I named it. You know, everything I do has some kind of mad or not mad purpose. So that, and I'm glad you're enjoying that Sumatra. I think it's a really good smoke. It's probably one of my more complicated ones. The Habano one is one of our most popular blends. I would describe it as a kind of a medium plus in strength. Lots of barnyard on the wrapper pre-light. If you retrohale at all, you'll pick up hints of fresh ginger, maybe some nutmeg. That cigar has, and this is why I didn't put it in the Lancero, even though it has a Criollo Habano wrapper on it. What I think gives that cigar some differentiation is that it's got some Pennsylvania broadleaf in the filler.
Okay.
And that Pennsylvania broadleaf. And for me, let me take a step back. In becoming a cigar blender, I have a lot to learn still, and I've learned a lot on the way. And, you know, when I went into the lab, as it were, saying, well, I know what I think I want, it was really a trial and error. And I learned so much about what happens when you put certain leaves next to each other and roll them. And every one of my 6 or 7 blends that I have currently took time because they just weren't getting where I wanted them to be, even my Connecticut. And it wasn't until I put that Pennsylvania broadleaf in that filler that made it kind of different and unique.
Gotcha.
Connecticut's nice, smooth, really floral. Again, very nice drawer. Burning nicely, John. I mean, this is good stuff, man.
Glad you're enjoying it.
The drawer is great.
Yeah, construction is bar none perfect.
Great. Thank you.
This one here is the Forte.
Oh yeah, he's got the Forte.
This is right up my alley. I'm really enjoying this. But you know, for some reason I can't pick out this one note. It's very earthy. Pepper right off the bat. Oof, nice. But there is that tiny suggestion of a sweet note in it. What is that?
That's the wrapper that you're tasting. That's a sun-grown wrapper, but it's different. So like the Habano has a sun-grown wrapper on it as well. But you know, there are so many different gradations and variations of sun-grown. You know, sun-grown is like this big lump of this pool of a category that has so many nuances within it. I mean, so again, the Fuerte was a byproduct of when I first opened up my stores, which are both in New Jersey, and I'm in New Jersey tonight. I'm home, thank God. And I started out with 5 blends. I started out with a Connecticut, Habano, a Sumatra, a Maduro, and a Cameroon. And which was a bit of an undertaking that in retrospect, I think I bit off more than I could chew to start off. That was a little aggressive, but welcome to meeting John Garofalo. I'm either all in or I'm just all out. And what a lot of my customers were saying was, you know, like, we really like your cigars, but like I really want something to kick me in the nuts and give me that extra Ligero, give me that nicotine bomb kind of thing. Because all of my cigars, I would classify my Connecticut as kind of a mild plus, my Habano as kind of a medium plus. I would classify my Maduro, my Sumatra, and my Cameroon as a medium to full bodied. I think they're all the same strength, but have, you know, incredibly different nuances to the flavor profiles. So the Fuerte came about almost a year after I launched the first round of leaf cigars, which are trademarked, by the way. I know there's Leaf by Oscar and that whole thing. Mine are the Leaf by Eñebes Tabac. So the Fuerte was really a derivative of that. And actually, I've gone back to the drawing board with that cigar. So the next round of those that'll come out, which probably won't come out till spring or summer of next year, those cigars will go away from being a box press to now being a round cigar. And it may sound silly, but when I smoke them side by side, let's call it like, I don't know what size you're smoking. Like there's a Toro Grande. There's only
Toro.
a Toro Grande, a Torpedo number 2, and a Gordo. And again, I only made 3 sizes in that blend, where the other sizes there are 5, in some cases 6. Everything I made there was fat ring gauge because of that extra Lajero in the filler, and I needed a fatter ring gauge, right? So I just found that the round cigar smoked better than this box press cigar.
Okay.
So when we do version number 2.0, it's going to be round as opposed to box press.
Gotcha.
How different will the Gordo be? Because I like Gordos myself.
Yeah, they'll taste the same. I mean, they should taste relatively the same. I'm extremely picky, and I think that's a good thing. I think because one of the things I think is, and I mean no disrespect to so many people that are successful in this business, and I've learned from so many people, but I think there's a lot of absurdity in this business. I mean, a lot of absurdity. Some of the marketing pitches and some of it gets to be a little nutty. I mean, after a while, it's just a freaking cigar. But there was enough of a difference in the round versus the box press in construction and feel and burn that I felt it was a better product than the round. So
Gotcha.
it's still going to be a 6x60. It's just going to be round as opposed to a soft box, because it's what I would describe as a soft box press. It's not a hard box press. My Maduro is more of a traditional box press.
Gotcha.
Well, I like it.
Yeah. I'm smoking right now. I'm smoking this beautiful lady here.
Me too.
It is the Speakeasy.
Yeah, I'm smoking the same. I don't know if you could see. I got the same cigar in my hand.
Beautiful, beautiful cigar. So what I like about this cigar, I'm going to classify this as a mild cigar, mild to mild plus. Let's put it that way, because mild, some people are going to be like, well, it's flavorless. I go, no. It's just mild. Doesn't mean that it doesn't have flavor. It's filled with flavor. That's the nice thing. And it's nice because after having something that was a medium plus, was the Habano Rothschild, which as you progressed down that cigar to the final third, it was much more plus. I'll give that a double plus on that.
It's interesting. It's interesting because I think that, so I would classify, I'm smoking the Speakeasy as well, because it's not my first cigar of the day. And I would classify this cigar as medium full, believe it or not. But that's, again, well, look, opinions are like, so you're not wrong if you think it's mild.
I love it. I love it because I could smoke this cigar all day long. Absolutely love this cigar.
So this cigar, I mean, all my cigars took some time to blend. This cigar took about almost 15 months, 16 months, maybe almost even a year and a half to get this blend right. So this is a 3-country proprietary blend. I don't really disclose what's in it. I tell people it's, in my opinion, it's the closest thing to a Cuban cigar you'll smoke without being in Cuba. I'm not going to tell you why I say that. But if you've ever smoked a Cuban cigar that has that kind of earthiness and whatever, I think we nailed it with that. It's a small batch cigar. It only comes in one size. It comes in a 6x50 Toro. It is my only cigar that sells for more than $10. And that's just because some of the tobacco that we had to source was more expensive. I really pride myself on, and it's one of the things we were talking about before we went live. I'm at a bit of a weird crossroad, right? I want to get my cigars in the hands of people that enjoy cigars, and I make them for cigar smokers, and I price point them as such where at full retail, my leaf cigars sell from anywhere from $7.95 to $9.95. And then if you're using the coupon code that I'm offering to your listeners tonight, if you use the coupon code at checkout on my website, ETCPS, you get 25% off of everything on the website.
What a deal.
What a deal.
So, I mean, you're really talking. And so, I made these cigars to be enjoyed by cigar smokers. I didn't want to be, and again, it's no disrespect to those guys that have the models where they're on the road and they're doing their thing and doing road shows and in-store events. And I would certainly, I mean, I love doing in-store events, but what I learned is a couple things. And that is, one is that as a tiny, tiny, tiny little brand, your cigar is never going to get the focus of a retailer. It's just not going to be a retailer. And I'm a retailer, right? So I have anchor brands in my own store that I have a tremendous amount of facings. When I'm a tiny brand, so you're not going to get that kind of exposure or support from a retailer. That's number one. Excuse me. Number two is that in order to do these things, and we were talking a little about this before we went on air, to do the PCAs and do the trade shows and do the in-store events and have John on an airplane flying around and doing dinners, and that costs money and marketing and getting these influencers who I think we could talk about those guys for days. I think some of them are completely full of shit. Sorry.
Family show. Shh, quiet.
but like all that stuff costs money, and where does that cost go? It goes into the cost of the cigar. So I'm in this weird spot, right? Like I want to make cigars that are good. Like if you go on my website, or if you, the tagline for the brand is just good cigars. I just want to make a good cigar at a good price point for people to enjoy. But how do you get your name out there? And it's not easy to do. So that's why I appreciate the opportunity with guys like you and spreading the word. And if you enjoy them, that kind of. And I'm perfectly content being a super, super tiny brand. I'm not a look at me guy. I love being in the lab. I'm working on 4 new lines right now as we speak. Is one of the reasons why I was traveling. 2 of which will roll out in the spring. Yeah, so I mean that's fun, but I like to keep my costs down so I can keep the cost of my cigars down, because when you smoke that Rothschild and you go, wow, this is a good cigar, and you say, well, how much did that cost? Oh, it was $8. Wow, for $8.
Exactly.
I put my Rothschild up against, depending on the blend, I would put them up against the $12 to $15.
Yeah, I agree.
Every day. Yeah.
Every
That's
day,
something
any
that
day.
we're finding. There's not too many cigars in this price point anymore.
No.
Everything is over the $12 mark now. And that really takes
more.
You can go to $50. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean the $7 to $10 range is almost unheard of.
It's
now.
almost extinct.
To get this quality, to get this quality of smoke.
Exactly. Where it's not a factory blend, where it's just, they
And
stamp.
the only reason why I'm able to do that again is because I don't have the overhead costs of a lot of marketing and
Right.
all that stuff that is I mean, for John Garofalo to go on the road to do 4 events in a week at 4 shows at 4 retailers, hotels, and airfare and rental cars and dinner, that money's got to come out of somewhere. It's
Exactly.
got to come out of from the
I
cigar.
hope that by word of mouth,
Yes.
you're all over the country.
Right.
I'm trying,
Really.
and I
Yeah.
appreciate the opportunity.
Because
So,
this should be in everybody's humidor.
Oh, everybody
I like
should
the
have
cigar.
at least, a couple of your sticks in their humidor
Yeah.
at all times. I'll be ordering a
I-
box or 2 for sure.
I
Because this is, like I said, when you have a quality cigar, there's no mistaking it. It speaks for itself. Cigars will come to you and you can pick them up and they will tell you a story. Sometimes the stories are real bad. You can't even like the damn thing. You have to put a poker so far through it that at that point, I just spent $10, $12, $15 on a stick that I can't even smoke.
and I have guys that are saying to me, oh, you should put your cigar into this club and to that club. And I'm like, no, I'm not. These cigar of the month club places, and some of the clubs are decent, but a lot of them are all baloney. It's like, you get 5 sticks in a month and 1 is decent and 3 suck. And 1 is like, no, I just, and so if I can, let me pivot back to how this kind of started.
Yeah.
So I went down to Nicaragua, where a lot of these cigars are being made. I am working on one of my new blends is going to be made in the Dominican. That cigar is going to be called the Jekyll and Hyde, actually. Yeah, we could talk about that a little later if you want. And while I was down there with my liaison in country, because when you're a newbie in Nicaragua, you got to have somebody in country. It's not, you're not in the U.S. And we were tasting cigars and rolling cigars and blending cigars. And the thought at the time was really just to make cigars for my retail stores, like not a house cigar, but let's call it private label.
Right.
Yeah. And while I was down there, the owners of the factory were kind of complaining about one of the minority partners that they had, and we made kind of a joke. Like maybe I should be one of your partners, and yeah, gringo, yeah, sure.
Right. You're not just a Ringo, you're Italian, so
eat those carnitas and shut up, kind of thing. Well, the next day I'm sitting having a cup of coffee and smoking a cigar, and my liaison guy came up and how serious were you about getting more involved? And I said, well, I don't know. I mean, if I got to write a check for $500,000, I was joking, right? I don't know. Well, 100 days, some odd days later, now I had an interest in the manufacturing side.
Nice.
So now all of a sudden, now I'm not just a retailer. I'm now making these cigars. I'm like, well, shit, this is a different business model. What am I going to do? And so the company was born, Eñebes, which was not named Eñebes at the time. My company was called the Leaf Distributors, because I'm in the moment. I'm going, well, what the frig am I going to call this? So we called it the Leaf Distributors, and we had all sorts of issues, not from a trademark standpoint, because I have a trademark, but there was a lot of confusion. People were finding my store and they weren't finding my brand. And
right.
So I'm sure you guys know who I'm about to talk about, but I was invited up to be a guest at the Cigar Authority podcast. And,
yeah.
So
another Garafalo.
No relation. No relation.
Hey, good people.
Yeah. And I'm sure he's not. No, they're not good people. They're great people. They are amazing people. The most gracious, some of the most gracious people I have ever met in this business. And Dave, even though I don't really get to talk to him much, is a mentor of mine. And he is a brilliant man. He's a brilliant marketeer. He's really so smart. And his people are wonderful. So I'm on this podcast. This is a true story. You can find the podcast on YouTube and listen to it. We're on air and we're smoking our Habano. Actually, we're smoking the Habano, and so it's me, his right hand man. Jonathan is in. Barry wasn't around for this show, and Dave, and Jonathan says, "You know what I love about your cigars?" I'm like, I don't know. And he says, "I love that you're not trying to convince me that your cigar is going to change my life," and I thought that was really interesting, because when we talk about, there's so much marketing fluff and so much bullshit out there. I mean, it's like, come on, guys, rolled on the thighs of virgins and double secret mountains of the Andes rolling on a Tuesday on a hot sunny. It's like, shut up. So I said, yeah, I really appreciate that. And Dave said, yeah, it's no bullshit. It's just straightforward, good cigar. And I'm like, yeah, that's why we say it's just good cigars. So now we do the podcast. We did a little bit of an in-store event. Left New Hampshire. I have a 6-hour ride back to Jersey. I'm in the car and I'm like, I gotta come up with a name for this company. I gotta come up with a name. What do I know? It's a good cigar. It's not a no bullshit cigar. No bullshit. I'm thinking, okay, no bullshit. No bullshit. NBS. No bullshit. NBS. Eñebes.
Oh,
the name Eñebes is completely made up. I made up. There is no word.
There is no word.
Wagnall, that's for sure.
I think it was a little town in Nicaragua somewhere.
I put a tilde on the N. I put some E's in between the N, B, and S, which was for no bullshit. And it just was born. And that is a true.
That's a great story.
I love that.
That's really good.
And it's kind of a funny story, and it's kind of memorable, and it's unique, and it's easy to remember once you know. And so Eñebes was born.
Now, so here you are. It's 17, 16. When do you decide that this is something that you want to attempt to do?
Yeah, so I started the journey. I was like you guys. I was a hobbyist. I'd been to many big smokes, and I've even worked booths at the Padron booth and the Fuente booth. And I was an online guy for the Fuente forum and the JR forum back in the day when online forums were the big thing, right? And I used to go to HERFs all over the country because I traveled a lot for work. And by the way, it's another reason why I didn't want to do the whole retail thing was because I'm a million miler with both United and American. I lived on an airplane for 15 years. I lived on an airplane. I know what that life is like. I don't want to do it again.
Right.
My wife is happy to have me home for the most part. At least that's what she says. So I decided to go from being a hobbyist to being a retailer around the beginning of 2019. And so started the journey, started to make the plans, looked for the retail space, started to create a build out, do that whole thing, went to Nicaragua, worked on my stuff. And then lo and behold, COVID happened.
Yeah.
And now I'm too far down the runway that I can't stop. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm learning a business that I really don't know much about from the inside. And now I've got COVID. What the fuck am I going to do?
Right.
So I had to learn some interesting things, door delivery, tail, just a little nutty.
Right.
But I think it was an invaluable event for me, even though it changed the world in the cigar world, changed it a lot.
Right.
I mean, it was the beginning of this boom,
Right.
The cigar industry, which created and is still creating a bit of a problem on the supply chain side.
Right.
Still haven't kind of gotten back to it. So I that was really invaluable to me because I had to be really lean and mean because I wasn't made of cash. And I was dropping a lot of money in terms of a capital investment into this. I don't have a bunch of silent partners that were funding me like some of these brands have. It was John, and John. I do have a partner. So it really was a pretty interesting. So I really have only been doing this for 3 years. And that's why I say, and I think humility is an important piece of this, right? This is an industry that is full of egos.
Yes, very much so.
Some good egos and some bad egos. And I certainly have an ego. But I think, and Dave Garafalo was a guy that was instrumental. And he didn't teach me these words directly, but if you ever meet Dave, and he's a very happy, friendly, affable guy, but he's a pretty low key. I mean, actually, I don't know if you would describe him as low key, but he's just a very down to earth guy. And I'm like, that's what I want to be. I want to be, I don't want to, I mean, he's built an empire. He's been doing this a long time. So I don't have that kind of runway in front of me, but I want to have fun. Because if I can't have fun doing this, well, guess what? I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Right.
It's the cigar.
Years ago,
the cigar represented something of leisure and joy for me, just like it does for you.
That's right.
Sure.
If I had to compromise that, guess what? I'm out. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Right. No, I get that for sure.
So what started first, actually? The retail stores or making the cigars?
No, the retail.
The retail.
Yeah, the retail store started. So these were the leaf cigars. I mean, so they come in pretty simple boxes. My white
boxes, by the way.
Thanks.
I like the simplicity of it.
Yes.
It's just simple. Like my bands, the bands are simple.
Yeah.
The Habano is in a brown box, and every blend is noted by a color ribbon, right? So the Habano ribbon is a blue ribbon. My Connecticut is a white ribbon. My Maduro is an orange ribbon. It was about really simplicity. Like my band, I get a lot of compliments on the band. Like, wow, it's really elegant and simple. And I just want to keep it, clean and classy and attractive. But I wanted the cigar to do the talking, not the marketing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The method is the KISS method.
Yeah.
Keep it simple,
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah,
It's the best
absolutely.
way.
My father used to teach me that as a kid all the time.
Mm-hmm. The more you complicate it, the worse it's going to be.
Let's hold off for now because we got a lot more to talk about. Let's go to our sponsors, Frank, and we'll come back. And folks, again, we are dealing right now with some issues on Facebook, as we can see. So we're sending people over to YouTube and Rumble. There's a little glitch going on the Facebook page. We don't know why, so we apologize ahead of time. But let's go to our sponsors and again, hit the share button. And let's get the word out here for John. Take it away, Frank.
This industry is steeped in family and tradition. There's generational stuff, and I see it over and over, and yet I didn't come from that. Being the outsider looking in, I got to ask all the silly questions, and people were very accepting to want to give me all the right answers. I'm very thankful for those people who kind of allowed me to come in. Now with Alec and Bradley in the business, to have our company become generational, that's pretty cool.
Welcome to GTO Dominican Cigars, a boutique cigar company that artfully blends and creates some of the finest handmade puros from the Cibao Valley in the Dominican Republic. We are fourth-generation manufacturers and growers of tobacco with over 140 years of experience, offering a variety of styles, blends, and strengths. Mild, medium, medium plus, and full-bodied. We would truly consider it an honor for you to experience our cigars. Those who know smoke GTO.
Before you light your next cigar, be sure to check out Cigar Medics, the makers of the patent-approved humidimeter. The humidimeter is a tool designed to display the relative humidity inside your cigar. With this device, there's no more guessing. Simply insert the probes into the foot or cap of your cigar, and you can instantly know if your cigar is ready to be smoked. Buy now on cigarmedics.com and see site for other cigar accessories. With the humidimeter, you'll know when to hold them and know when to smoke them.
Years in the making, the Chief cigar was born, blended, boxed, and released to market on June 26, 2015. This cigar was developed by former fire chief, firefighter, cigar aficionado Ken Dorbecker, and has grown into a signature firehouse cigar line. Including, of course, the Chief, a Nicaraguan Habano blend, Proby, a Connecticut Shade blend, All Hands, a Maduro Mexican San Andreas box press, and the brand new Fire Pole, a beautifully crafted San Andreas Habano barber pole. Join the Chief family and make us part of your humidor. R&A Treasures, out of Tampa Bay, Florida. The last of a legacy. The last of an inventory of Thomas Cristiano in a warehouse where everything is aged and well kept for all your pipe and smoking needs.
And we're back.
All right.
Giovanni, I have a question for you. So, I'm smoking your Speakeasy,
Yes, sir.
and what I'm getting from this cigar, which is very interesting, it's bringing me back to my childhood. And my mother, when she used to make fresh pasta, she would take out a little semolina. So it's got that, like almost like a wheat, that durum wheat, baked like fresh bread, pasta. Delicious is all I could say. I can remember rolling the meatballs right now.
Let me be the first to say that that is the most unique description I've ever heard of my cigar. And I've had a lot of people try the Speakeasy and try it and give me opinion. Yours is, you win the prize, man. Ever. But you know what? If that's
the note that you
cigars, it's so subjective, right? I mean, like, as a retailer, it's just kind of funny. So, as a retailer, you walk in my humidor, I've got hundreds and hundreds of cigars and brands, and when somebody goes off on a tangent about a cigar that they love or they're enjoying and why they like it, I just sit and go. It's like a feeling. Like if you feel a certain way about something, somebody can't come up to you and say, "No, that's not right," because your feeling is genuine. It's something that. So to me, one of the things I really love about being a cigar lover, smoker, forget being in the business, is that I find the relationship between cigar and smoker to be a very intimate one, right? I mean, like how it feels in your hand, whether it's a Lancero. And I have guys that say, I will never smoke a Lancero because it's too small. And okay. And I have guys that'll say, I don't want a box press. I don't like box. Okay. I mean,
right.
Everybody's
different.
That's why there's something for everybody.
If you like smoking an acid, blondie, great. I don't really want to smoke one.
Right.
And I sell a ton of them.
Yep.
To each their own. I mean, it's the beautiful thing about this hobby is that there really are no wrong answers. And if you want to believe the marketing chatter, or if you want to believe the pretty girl with 9 filters on her face saying, okay, well, I think you're a schmuck, but
And if you want to believe the semolina in there, we're making meatballs on this one.
but at least he's not taking his clothes off and telling me to do it, right? Like,
telling you that. No.
There's a certain element of just keep your shirt on. Keep your shirt on. I've seen breasts before. Great. I'm not going to buy that cigar because you're going.
It's not a microphone.
But hey, they call them influencers for a reason, I guess.
Absolutely.
You influence the naive.
All right.
Well, Frank, I have to tell you that's a real good description there. As you're saying it, I'm rethinking your mother. I'm rolling the gnocchi with it, Okay,
that cigar could be sold at every Italian restaurant.
I mean, really, that's awesome. That really is.
And how to put you on the spot here, John?
Sure.
And, so I was perusing your website earlier, and I noticed something coming next month. A Reserva.
Yeah, and that Reserva now is going to get pushed out till the spring.
Oh, okay.
Only because I in my opinion, when the cigar is ready and the cigar is right, that's when you make them.
Don't rush it.
Yeah.
So I thought for sure that and the Reserva line will have 3 blends. And it's probably going to only come out in the initial launch in 2 sizes. I'm going to have kind of I'll call them like a mild cabinet Connecticut. I'm going to have a kind of a savory broadleaf, and I'm going to have a strong. So it'll be like a mild, sweet, and full-bodied Reserve line. And I'm going to roll them out one, and then I'll wait a couple months, roll out another one, a little bit at a time, as opposed to the major drop I did with all my leaf cigars, which was a nightmare. But fun. So yeah, so the Reserva is going to take a little. I thought you were going to bust my chops about the flavored cigars, but
we ain't talking about blondies right now.
No. We like to go after the the hard hitting cigars. We want the facts, and we're trying to pull. I don't, without maybe giving away. Can you tell us the secret sauce? What the sauce is in those cigars?
They tell you the secret. He'll tell you the sauce.
My mother never gave away the trade secret.
You're talking about the Reserva ones?
Yeah.
So what I would say to you is, why don't you invite me back when they get
releasing? All right.
When you know the release date, let's get you to do a exclusive right here for the promotion.
And around that time, my Jekyll and Hyde. I think that my Jekyll and Hyde is going to come out before that. So just because I was able to get that locked in a little faster, I guess, for no better choice of words. That cigar, and the reason why I call it a Jekyll and Hyde was, as I got down the path with that cigar, what I found was, and that cigar is only going to come in 2 sizes too. It's going to come in a Salomon and a Toro. That cigar has this weird chocolatey, bready, so it's a sweet, savory thing, and I would classify it as a medium-bodied cigar. And so, I mean, we just picked the graphics for the band. I don't want to share them with you, but their band is going to be pretty cool. And then I have another cigar that I'm also working on in the DR, and that cigar is going to be called the Bomba. And that is for you guys that like the powerhouses. This is going to be the Dominican version of punch you in the nose, kind of a strong, spicy cigar. So
this is right up Bob's alley then, because Bob loves to get his ass kicked.
Yeah. So those will be my 2020. Those will be my 2023 releases. Would be my Reserva line, and then my Jekyll and Hyde and my Bomba. The timing of those
staggered.
And some of it's going to be tied to the factories too, right? It's about production. I am a tiny player, even though I have, there's an interest there, although I don't have an interest in the Dominican relationship. There are bigger fish that have a pecking order in front of me, and that's okay. I mean, I'd rather the cigars sit around, and I'd like to try. When I lock in a blend, and this is just the way I do it. I don't know that there's a right or wrong, but when I lock in a blend and I say, yeah, that's the one I want, I take those samples and I put them aside for 90 days, and then I go back to them in 90 days just to see the evolution of that cigar. Because like we talked about, when you learn when you're rolling the relationship of tobacco leaves as they marry, they become this whole different thing. So and so I'll tell you a funny story about the Habanos, which is true. So we finally lock in that blend of the Pennsylvania broadleaf. For like, yeah, this is money. I order 800 boxes, whatever the heck it was. And by the way, my cigars come in 5 standard sizes. I have a 7x50 Churchill. I have a 6x60 Gordo. I have a 6x50 Toro. I have a 5x50 Robusto, and I have a 5.5x42 Cuban Corona. And that skinny cigar is a funny one because it's not the most popular size, but as a Lancero smoker, I like that size because sometimes, like when I smoke a Lancero, it takes me almost 2 hours to smoke I'm a slow smoker, and you should smoke the skinny cigars slower because you don't want to
heat them up.
Right. So that the Cuban Corona was kind of built by me to say, I like this cigar, but I don't necessarily have the time. So, with that cigar, it was just one of those things. You learn so much. So the Habanos, now they come in, the 800 boxes come in. I let them sit for a week to let them rest and catch up. We light up the Habano. We're sitting around the table. There's like 6 of us, and I'm lighting a cigar, and nobody is talking. Nobody. And I'm going like, holy shit.
What did I do here?
Oh my God. I've got 800 boxes of garbage. No, I mean,
yeah,
do the math.
That's a lot of math,
a lot of money. And I'm going, I'm like kind of freaking out. And, I call a buddy of mine who was not involved in the project. He's like, put the cigar down, stop smoking them, put them back in the room, and come back to them in a month. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand. I spent all this money. And he's like, John, put them down, let them rest. And sure enough, the cigar just got better and better and better and better and better. So that in itself was a lesson that I learned. So
right.
All right.
Yeah.
On average, how long are your leaves fermenting and resting?
So going into the making of the cigar, each leaf is got its own little lifespan. Some stuff was aged 60 days, 90 days, 180 days. And then usually once they're rolled, they'll sit in the factory for at least 30 days before they come to me. And then the other thing that I kind of do is based on the time of year. So with hurricane season and things like that, if I see that the cigars have been sitting there for 30 days, let's use this year as an example with the hurricanes that have gone through Nicaragua. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll say, get them in the boxes and get them to me.
Right.
And then I'll get them and I'll put them in the warehouse, and in the humidified warehouse, and we won't touch them just to get them out of country because I didn't want to take the chance of my 30 days turning into 120 days.
Right.
Sure. I was just going to ask you about that. How is things going bringing in from Nicaragua right now?
Latin America is just got its own heartbeat. It's just very, very different. And if you're an American business person, and I've done business all over the world in a previous life, that each culture is just unique, right? So as an American going down there is a level of respect. And by the way, some guys don't get it. Like some of these Americans that want to be a cigar maker, they go down to Latin America and they come in guns a-blazing, and the locals are like, no. You have to have a level of respect for these people, and
right.
And this is a marathon, not a sprint, right? And I've had plenty of uncomfortable conversations with folks there, but I'm not there. I mean, I give a lot of credit to guys, guys that I really look up to in this industry, guys like Skip Martin from Romacraft, who lives in Nicaragua now, right? The Brown family that makes Oveja Negra and Black Label Black Works, right? They started out in the U.S. and now they live there. I have a tremendous amount of respect for those people that have embraced that culture and really have become part of that culture. So it's a dance. You just have to understand that there's so much nuance put into making a cigar that is far beyond what you normally think goes into it. And by the way, I am still a novice. I'm still learning every day.
Right. Well, I think what you've created in such a short time speaks volumes, because again, when you're talking about blending, people who have been in the industry for years and years and years, blending, and I'm talking about you're like a newbie, literally.
A real
newbie. I mean, I think it's astounding, really.
And I'm a newbie as a retailer too. Like I have friends that are retailers that have been doing it a long time, and they're like, "Well, you should be doing this. You should." I'm like, oh, "Okay, well, if that works for you, that's great." But
right now, at your retail, do you have lounges built into the space, or so can you smoke indoors, or do you need to?
Yeah, so Jersey's a little wonky. So the answer is yes. It's funny, in my first store, which is in Shrewsbury, New Jersey, the town, when they gave me my my green light to go, they said, "Yeah, you're approved. You can sell cigars, but you can't smoke on premise." And I'm like, "What? What?" So I had to lawyer up, and in New Jersey, there's a statute that says if 50% or more of your business is selling cigars or pipes or related items, you can provide an area for your customers to sample your cigars. So it's kind of a joke. If you ever come into my store, it's a true story. You ever come into my store in Shrewsbury, I have a huge sign as you're approaching the lounge, and it says sampling room. And I think, unlike Florida and some of these other places where smoking is a lot more allowable indoors, in New Jersey, I think the big thing was they didn't want people there all day, if that makes any sense.
Right.
So the first thing, so my retail store is called the Leaf Cigar Emporium. And the first version of my store was going to be called the Leaf Lounge. And they said, whoa, well, if you're a lounge, you have to have more parking. And are you selling food and beverage for trade? I'm like, no. I'm just a retail store with a. So, again, those are things like I had to learn, like, well, shit, I'm not a lounge. I have so we call it a smoking area. I do not. So my model is real simple. I don't have lockers. I don't have memberships. If you want to bring a bottle, as long as you're respectful and you're not a drunk a-hole, you're welcome to enjoy and whatever. The only rule is no outside cigars allowed.
Yeah.
And there are no lockers. There is no membership. There is no cutting fee. You just have to buy a cigar, and it has to be purchased that day. You can't. Okay. And you got assholes who are like, "Oh, I bought this cigar last Tuesday." I'm like, "No, you didn't."
Last Tuesday
for a hamburger on Tuesday.
Yeah, next Tuesday for that.
So yeah, I have a retail. Both of my stores are retail, and my money customer is the bread and butter of my retail business. Is what I'll call the grab and go. The guy that comes into the humidor or buys a pack or whatever, grabs the cigars and go. But I do have a space, and the space we use now that the world is coming back. We talked about traveling.
Right.
For 2 friggin' years, we couldn't go anywhere.
Right.
It's a nice space to have when I do have in-store events, which we're just starting to get back into the world of doing events. So, and I'm learning about that. I've done now 2 events, and I'm still learning how to do them better, I guess is the better way to say it.
Gotcha.
Where are the 2 locations, by the way?
So if you live in New Jersey, they're in Monmouth and Ocean County. One is in Shrewsbury, New Jersey. The other one is a town called Bayville, which is just south of a town called the River.
Bayville, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a little quick side story. So we're open this was my Shrewsbury store was open. My Bayville store had not yet been open. And somebody came into the store and said, "Hey, congratulations." I'm like, "Yeah, thanks. We've been open for 9 months already, whatever." And they said, No. You guys were voted, you're a finalist for best cigar store from Ocean and Monmouth County. I'm like, really? I didn't even know we were voted. And lo and behold, we wound up winning.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
I mean, I was completely blown away by that. But one of the things I learned as a retailer, and again, I've been in sales most of my life and a business traveler, but one of the things I learned before I opened my first store, and I went to all of the stores within a, let's call it a 15, 20 mile perimeter of my first location. And what I learned, good, bad, or indifferently, was every store, every single one of them had the same Achilles heel, every single one of them. And that was that they lacked customer service, that there was some guy sitting behind a counter that said, yeah, I'll help you sell, whatever, didn't really know anything about the cigars.
Right.
So the guys that are on my team, the people that work on my team, there's a training that goes on. We walk through brands. We do in our stores every other month. We do an in-store training. We pick a brand. We smoke the cigar. We talk about them. So it's and by the way, there are a lot of customers that walk in the door that don't want to be bothered, right? It's like, leave me alone. I know what I want. Okay, great.
Yeah.
But the majority of people want to know about the cigar. They want to know about the brand. And hey, I like this. And you know, having my own brand, right? So it's like, hey, what do you like to smoke? Oh, I like an Ashton White Label. Oh, okay, great. I have them. They're over here. I got 5 of them. Have you tried our Connecticut? No, tell me about it. Well, blah, 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 blah. It's the best value in the store. And if I can get somebody to convert, great. Like my Maduro, I don't know if any of you guys smoke my Maduro.
Not yet.
Not yet.
My Maduro comes in a black box and has an orange ribbon. Right. So orange, these are box pressed.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. So I, in full transparency, when I blended the Maduro, to me, the gold standard in a Nicaraguan Maduro was the Padron family.
Right. Absolutely, without a doubt.
How could they not be, right? So yeah, I went down there with a handful of 1000 series Maduros and 64 anniversary Maduros, and my goal was not to replicate it. I wanted something unique, but I wanted something that rivaled that. So my cigar sits on this Maduro sits somewhere flavor wise between the 1000 series and the 64 anniversary. So it's not quite as smooth as the 64, and that's a 20 some odd dollar cigar, right? But my cigar is less expensive than the 1000 series, and in my opinion, tastes better but again, that's my opinion. I sell a ton of 1000 series. Sure. So in my head, when I was blending my core lines, I had kind of for the most part, I had something in my head that I wanted to use as not my template, but maybe my roadmap.
Right. Give you a baseline to work from.
And I can't help to notice the similarity in colors on your OSU shirt you're wearing tonight too. The Maduro wrapping.
Weisenheimer.
Well, I'm personally not a big Maduro smoker. Although I do love the Brazilian Matafina wrappers, and I love the Brazilian Arapiraca wrappers a lot. But and there are people that go absolutely bonkers over the Mexican San Andreas stuff, and rightly so. Some of it is amazing. I don't know, and I tend to like earthy more than pepper.
Right.
And our Maduro is that classic kind of Nicaraguan Maduro. It's got that cocoa bean, cocoa espresso bean, a little white pepper on the retrohale, that creamy, savory. Not as heavy as some, like Anganorsa makes an amazing Maduro as well, but I find that Maduro to be a little bit heavier and a little bit more savory. Mine is a little not quite as light as maybe a Perdomo. It's got its own space in flavor wheel, as it were, but this is a 6x60 Gordo that sells at full retail for less than $10.
Can't beat that.
So talking about selling,
yeah,
we have people listening on the show. How can they get your cigars directly, or what's the best way for them to get your samples?
Yeah, I appreciate that very much. So the website is eñebestabac.com. That's ENEBES Tabac, TABAC.com. It'll have every cigar in my portfolio will be there, including my flavored cigars. If you live right now, if you live in the state of Florida or New Jersey, I would ask that there's a number on the website, ask that you call that number just for tax purposes and whatnot, because Eñebes is based out of Miami and my retail stores are based in New Jersey. So if you're a New Jersey resident, I usually refer people to my retail store. And if you're in Florida, I ask you to call me, and then somebody can process your order and take care of it. Anybody else can go online, place the order online, use that coupon code. And by the way, if you're calling, just say, you you saw me on the Cigar and Pipe show, we will honor that 25% discount. By the way, that coupon code will be active for about a week. I'll keep that live.
Thank you.
Yeah. That way, people that watch it on Rumble and YouTube or whatever, or if you want to promote it on Instagram, it's there. And that's the best way to get your hands on it. And you can order 5-packs. I do not currently have. Some people have asked, do I have like a 5-pack sampler of one of each of the cigars? I don't. So you'd have to buy, 5 of each one. So that's a little bit more of a commitment, and that's why I give the 25% off. So like if you're smoking the Gordo at $9.75 and you take 25% off, this is a $7 cigar.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, come on,
well worth it.
All you need to do is get 5 of your best friends all go in on it, and then you got your 5 sampler pack for each of you.
There you go.
I mean, it's really easy.
Exactly.
And the flavored cigars, I'm not a big flavored guy. We were, joked a little earlier about the acids, and they're an incredibly popular cigar.
Yes,
I have the flavored cigars I currently make in 6 flavors. I've got a coffee, a vanilla, a rum, an amaretto, a mint, and a cherry. And the other reason why I started those was because as a businessman, I look at all the analytics on my retail side and I see what's selling and what's not. And I saw that we did a pretty good number of flavored and infused cigars in my business. And then digging a little deeper, I'm like, these cigars are selling for between like $8 and $11 for a freaking flavored cigar. It's a lot. And they're not, I don't really have a sweet cigar like a Deadwood. I would say my rum is probably the closest because it's like a sugar cane. But like my goal was, again, I make only one size. I make a Corona, and that Corona sells for $4.99. So
wow.
Right? So you take 25% off of you're buying that cigar for $3.
Wow.
Where are you going to buy a
1973?
Now, are you a little nervous with the FDA deeming regulations and the flavored cigars? And I mean, we're all kind of like up in arms right now with what's going to happen with the government.
Well, so you made an interesting statement there. So no, I'm not afraid. I am up in arms about it, and I'm very active and want to support PCA and everything that they're doing to educate the FDA on what this is and what this is not. And again, my flavored cigars are very simple. I don't ban them to attract young people. You have to be over 18 to buy them, blah, 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 blah. I think the industry is going through a tremendous amount of change right now in a lot of different categories. And we could do another show entirely on that, right? But I don't ever go into anything on a business side afraid of anything. Okay. And I'm not afraid of making a mistake. If I have to change something, I'll change it. It's not, I'm afraid of nothing. But I worry about everything, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. You know what? I'm trying to say you timing wise. I know we're holding you on a little bit more than an hour.
I'm still smoking my cigar, so
okay. All right, that's good then.
I'm here until you want to get rid of me.
All right. Well, we don't get rid of nobody. We're not going on a fishing boat or anything. But
good to know.
How about the music end? I know people are interested on your music, and how did that all start? And talk a little about what you're doing.
Sure.
Part of it.
So I have been a professional musician now for I don't know, maybe 8 years now.
I
started as a little boy. My mom, who I told you I named the Lancero after. My mom was a singer for the Metropolitan Opera and RCA Records back in the 50s.
Wow.
Yeah. So music has always been in my blood. And I played guitar and I sang and I played guitar. And when I left, it's kind of interesting. So I left corporate America in 2012. I was a COO of a company and I helped them merge and acquire and then eventually be acquired. And I'm like, you know what? I don't just want to do this shit anymore. Just don't. I started a consulting business, which I still have. Developed a software business, believe it or not, and sold that off because I didn't want to do that anymore. Like I told you earlier, I like to do things, right? And one of the things when I moved home, because I was living in California and in California. I was also in New Jersey. I was traveling all over the world. I was never home. Cost me a marriage, in full transparency. And I got back to music because music was something that made me feel good.
Yes.
And that's how I got started. As I mentioned earlier when we talked, started in kind of a cover band thing, and that evolved pretty nicely, but was a lot of work and not a lot of money. And I like to think I'm relatively intelligent. Depends on the day and time you catch me.
You know?
Yeah.
But we decided to pivot into what we now live in is the tribute space. So I now front and I manage a band called Almost U2. Almost U2 is a tribute band to the music of U2, obviously. And that has been a tremendous amount of fun. I mean, it keeps me young. We do some touring up and down what I'll call the East Coast corridor out to about Ohio right now. I don't know that we'll ever aspire to anything bigger than that, but I never say never. But I love, it's so funny. We were talking about ego, right? And being this big personality. And I mean, I'm obviously not a wallflower, but but when you're on stage, you are front and center. I mean, you are, and it's funny because my friends tease me. They call me Jono, not Bono.
All right, Jono.
So I do that, and that's a lot of fun. I'll be between now and Christmas, I think pretty much almost every weekend except for Thanksgiving weekend and Christmas weekend, I'll be playing somewhere.
Awesome.
And that's fun. I mean, it's just
it's a good breakaway from the retail shop too, and it changes your head.
Music really is good for the soul. It's good for the body, keeps me young, keeps me in shape. I'll tell you a quick little funny story. So we're playing, music is one of these things, like you play in these dumpy, shitty little places for a long time. And then in the tribute space, you start playing theaters and larger clubs and then bigger theaters. So it was not this past summer, but last summer, we played in a theater up in northern New Jersey. It's one of the largest theaters in that area. And we all drive up in our cars with our stuff, and we pull up, and the guys go, "Yeah, you can't touch anything. We're a union, and you have to let us touch everything." We're like,
all right.
Hey, you're walking through the bowels of this theater, and as you're walking through this theater, they have all these big posters of Tony Bennett and Reba McEntire and Kenny Loggins, and all these major artists that played there, and some of the posters were autographed. And so we do our sound check, and it was a 2,000 seat theater.
Nice.
I think we sold 1,400 tickets that night.
Wow,
it was pretty good. Yeah, that was nice. And so we do our sound check. We go back into the green room. There's a catered dinner for us, and we dressing room and whatever. And I see the production guy, and I'm just in awe of these posters. And I said to him, "Hey," I said, "you wouldn't have like a poster in the front for us promoting our show, would you?" And I asked him very genuinely, and he just goes like this. He goes, "No." I was like, "Okay, all right. Get it? I'm nobody." But like the way he's like,
a humbling moment.
I now am back to being a small potato. It's fine.
That's great.
Now,
we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. We're going to be playing up in the 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. We're actually going to do a little mini tour up in New England. We're going to play in this is actually going to be fun for us. It's the first time we've ever done this. On Friday night, we're going to play in Vermont, and Saturday night, we're going to play in New Hampshire. And then on Sunday, we're going to play in Rhode Island. So that's going to be interesting because we've never done 3 shows back to back. So it'll be interesting for me. That's a lot of music to sing. Singing Bono is not easy.
Right. Now, question for you. Now, being a cover band for a few years.
Tribute.
Being a cover band. Why don't you listen before you he was a cover band for a few years. Then they moved into being a tribute band.
Correct.
Why U2?
Yeah. So Well, the first thing when you decide to go into the tribute space is you have to obviously pick an artist that has a library of music, right? Like I kind of laugh because the tribute scene is now becoming a little saturated, kind of like the cigar business, right? I mean, there's just everywhere you turn around, there's another friggin' cigar company popping up, just like mine, by the way. It's a very competitive space, right? And I met somebody this morning actually where they were talking like, yeah, I managed this No Doubt tribute band. I'm like, No Doubt. I'm like, what do they got? Like 3 fucking songs? I mean, they play like a 35-minute version of the one that how do you a band that's got no music? I mean, I don't understand
over and over and over again.
So that was a 35-minute version of Obama. And so, we picked U2 because of the library music. We also picked U2 because their music is a lot more complicated than it looks or sounds. We wanted to pick something that would be challenging just because we know how the 4 of us are. We like that challenge. And I would tell you that I was always a decent singer, but I think doing the U2 thing has made me a much better singer. Just because it's so challenging. So I think those were the key components.
Gotcha.
But obviously having a library of music, and we tribute what we call the live music of U2. And so like, we don't really do like studio versions. We'll do like, the 1989 Red Rocks tour. They'll do, and they'll do different versions. So we do Streets Have No Name, which is like, one of the iconic songs from U2, but we probably have like 5 versions of it that we play based on certain live performances that they've done over the year. And that we do that too, because it makes it interesting for people that maybe have come to see us more than one time.
Right. So, you've had to study them quite a bit to know that. So I'm sure that you're pretty versed in their library for sure.
Yeah. So we have the way our band is set up. I handle all what I'll call the front end of the stuff. So I do all the marketing, I do all the contracts, I do all that negotiating. The guitar player, who is, AKA the Edge, he does all of the musical compositions. He does all the arranging. He takes all the time to do all of that. And then he gives us our pieces to work on. And then we work on stuff so tomorrow night, I'm actually going to be in a rehearsal studio because I have a show this Saturday and we're doing a couple of new versions of stuff. So we'll go into a rehearsal studio tomorrow for a couple hours and work on those, so we learn on our own. And then when we get together to practice, it's like putting the pieces together, if that makes sense.
Now, do you all live nearby each other?
Ish. Where I live about a half a mile to the ocean here in New Jersey, in Monmouth County. We rehearse almost an hour away from my house. The drummer actually lives in Staten Island, New York, so he has about an hour and a half's drive to this place. So, but we're in the same area, as it were. So, and we do the group text thing. We have a group thing that we share content and we collaborate on ideas, and so we don't really see each other except for when we rehearse, which is sometimes once a month, sometimes more, sometimes once every 3 months, and then of course when we play.
Got
Beautiful. That's awesome. That's a lot of
fun. And anybody that has come to see me play that maybe knows me from either the cigar business or from my other walks of life professionally, it's like a whole different thing. They're like, holy shit, like that was you? Like, like even my kids, my kids are grown. My kids are 29, 30, and 33. When they come to see me and they bring friends, like their friends are like that's like your dad up there. Right?
And he's acting like Mick Jagger. Look at him.
It's kind of a cool thing. It really and one of my greatest feelings in playing, not that you've asked, but I'm going to tell you, is I love, like, I do a lot of crowd interaction stuff and I get people to sing along with me. And, when you're in a room of 1,400 people and you hear people singing with you, it's really powerful. It's moving. So we did a benefit last Saturday. We did a benefit for somebody, a promoter that we work with who is very near and dear to us. She had a nephew who had a surfing accident nearby here and broke his neck, actually. And he's a quadriplegic, and we actually played for free. We we do like 2 or 3 shows a year where we'll play for nothing just to raise money. We're doing one next year up in Boston for a policeman that was killed in the marathon bombing. So I'm playing. We're playing "Pride in the Name of Love." Everybody's heard that song. In the name of love, right? Yeah. So there's a part in that song where the music kind of quiets down, and there's this kind of a thing. And I don't know why. I saw somebody taking a video, and I talked to the crowd. I said, "Okay, everybody, grab your phone and turn on your flashlight." And so I had everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people, picked up their phone, turned on their flashlight, and I had people doing this to the music, right? And you got 1,000 people with their, I'm singing to a dark crowd,
right?
These light, it's pretty
Powerful.
moving.
That's pretty cool.
It was, it's definitely fun. I mean, I love the music part of it, and it's funny. When I was a young man, my father was very tough. I come from an Italian background, and work and school was everything to my family. And I loved music even as a kid. And my father said to me as a kid, like, "John, if you want to live in a van and play music and just do what you love." And I didn't listen to my father because I didn't think, like, I thought he was telling me that as a test. Like I went to college and I did that thing because I thought that's what he wanted me to do. So I never really pursued my dream of music. So I was blessed that at the age of 50, whatever I was when I started this, that I was able to get back and do something that I love. And the cigar story is a different path, but a similar thing. I love cigars, and I love to smoke cigars, and I love to talk about cigars, and I love being in this business.
That's fantastic.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Right, man. Very good. And thanks what you do for your free music concerts for the people that you work for. That's a lot.
You got to give to get. I mean, we live in a world that is so
take.
Unkind is the best.
Yeah.
I don't care. Yeah. I don't care if you're blue or red. I really don't care. I don't care if you're black or white. I don't care if you're gay or straight. I think that we have lost our way in some ways.
Yep.
And I like to give back to the world in which I am contributing to. So I think that it may sound naive, maybe, or even whatever, but I think that whatever you put out in the universe will. I mean, it sounds very California, right? But no disrespect to anybody from California watching.
I just turned off.
But it's important. It really is. It's important. I
agree.
You only get one shot at this thing, right? I mean, right? That's why I love being on shows like this. I mean, you guys love what you're doing, and I love that you're asking me to be part of this silliness. So,
well, we're going to definitely have you back for that exclusive for sure. But let's hold on for that. We're going to take another sponsor break, and then we're going to go back to our wonderful segment, which everybody always holds on for the prizes. But we're going to come back to Smoke the Chooch episode here shortly. So hold your thoughts there, everybody. Make sure you hit the share button. And Frank, let's take it away.
Howard G Cigars is a dynamic new cigar brand grown from a love for cigar culture and a respect for the artisanship behind the craft. We are a minority-owned family business based in Orlando, Florida. Our current collection delivers 3 exclusive lines: Black Moses, Magic Stick, All Pro Series, featuring Leon Searcy's signature cigar and Ike Taylor's one-of-a-kind.
You got the one-of-a-kind rankings. They got me at 89. I'm cool with that.
We are focused on evolving as a dynamic brand and bringing you new flavor-filled blends that you'll enjoy and want to share. Visit our website at www.howardgcigars.com. You can find a full list of our retail partners there too. Thank you for making us part of your humidor. DAV Cigars out of New York. Decades of experience combined with true love and deep understanding of cigars result in the highest of standard of each DAV hand-rolled cigar.
This is Phil Morgan, General Manager of Missouri Meerschaum Corncob Pipes in Washington, Missouri. Our mission since 1869 has been to produce great smoking pipes that anyone can afford. We guarantee our pipes won't be your most expensive, but they just might be the ones you smoke the most. At Missouri Meerschaum Company, we don't just sell our corncob pipes, we grow them, make them, and smoke them. Missouri Meerschaum, Washington, Missouri, since 1869.
Loyalty, passion, courage. These are the founding principles of K by Karen Berger Cigars. The Maduro, the Habano, and the newly rated 93 by Cigar Journal Connecticut. Do yourself a favor and check out this wonderful line of cigars that come from a completely linear company from seed to your hands. Blue Smoke Atlanta is the vision of Robin Blue, founder and CEO, and represents an award-winning luxury smoking accessory line based in Atlanta and sold worldwide. Since 2019, Blue Smoke Atlanta's goal was to redefine traditional smoking accessories into a timeless collection of exquisitely handcrafted luxury products to include cigar pokers, cannabis clips, jewelry, and other awesome things. For an elevated smoking experience, visit us at www.bluesmokeatl.com.
At Mountain Smoke Premium Tobacco, we specialize solely in the finest hand-rolled, craft, and boutique cigars on the market. Mountain Smoke Premium Tobacco is sure to have something that will excite you. Shop our online humidor at www.mountainsmokewd.com.
And we're back. All right, folks. Sounds good. So everybody, let's get ready for the next segment of Smoke the Chooch.
I don't have to explain to John what a chooch is.
No, he knows what a chooch is.
He knows what a chooch is. He's been called a chooch once or twice. I'm sure his dad was like, "You chooch."
No, it's called John-O.
So
we
John,
gotta explain to the newbies out there what the
exactly
is.
All right. So
all you got to do is put the picture up and they'll know.
Well, this is how I always introduce this segment because, you know, it's one of my favorite characters and just a beautiful animal, really. And without it, the industrial age would have never happened because let's face it, without your donkey, it doesn't get done. Okay.
That's it. Okay.
Need a donkey in every business.
And our resident chooch is on watching along with us. So
and we got the king of all chooches, which is Joey Galino. Joey Galino is he tries to answer these questions, John. This is a trivia part of the evening. I'm a history buff. I love history. I think it's important. We should learn from it, not shy away from it. So my man Joe Galino, another Italian, you would think he would want to be a little bit more, you know, in line, at least get close to an answer.
No,
but
that's Joey. He wants to be the chooch.
This is what he looks like. That's what he looks like. It's a chooch.
Hey, just by let you know, I've spoken to Connecticut. It's an hour and 33 minutes, and it's unbelievable. It's a fantastic smoke, guys. It really is.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to smoke all of mine.
Yep. An hour and a half smoke. Okay. I mean, that's a lot. But for tonight, guys, we got a few.
What Ronnie's pulling out of his hat. Other than you're going to get 25% off. Go put the code in. You got a week to do it, or call and then just say, "Hey, I saw you on the bunch of chooches over there on the Great Cigar and Pipe Show," and then you know.
So you got 25% off of his cigars all week. We're also going to have a beautiful, one of the best polo shirts that I think I've ever worn in my life. It's the Smoke at the BCA.
And it looks better when you hold it in front of your face. It actually looks good like that.
It does look good. And this is one that you've already worn, right?
Yeah, this is not an already been worn.
Yeah, not for you. Not for you. And then we have a great hat here. There, I wore that, okay?
Nice.
All right, and that's with the label on it again.
Beautiful.
Greek. Very nice hat. We're also going to give away collector's items. We're going to have the the Great Lakes Smoke the Patch. Who wants a patch? Everybody
Oh.
likes patches.
Wow, that's vintage.
That's vintage.
This is vintage. And we also have a sticker, the Great Lakes.
That's
Smoke.
that's the old Great Lakes. That's becomes vintage too. Now two vintage logos.
Two
now.
vintage logos. And we're also, hold on. I'm
What
just
are the giveaways on the show? I mean,
we got to get rid of it.
we do have to get rid of things. So this is one way to do it.
We also got a cutter from our very own Corona.
Nice.
Beautiful.
I love that. That's nice.
All right. Our main sponsor. You can see that right above us. Corona Cigars.
Beautiful.
And we have one from our Italian friends, Cigar Medic, Luigi.
Oh,
Luigi. Absolutely. So we have a cigar holder.
Nice.
Nice, tiny, beautiful. It's in its own and everything. Never been used. Hasn't even been opened yet. All right. So we got a few items here for you, winners, tonight.
Wow, this is a very nice giveaway, Mr. Pecorini. By the way,
nice. 6 items tonight with the 25% off all week of the amazing cigars, guys. You got to try them. The leaf is unbelievable. We've had already 4, 5 different smokes on the show already, and I think we can all say
the speakeasy. Let's not forget about the speakeasy, because that was a damn good cigar.
Well, you had the speakeasy. You had the speakeasy.
Nobody's
I had the Connecticut.
He said the leaf.
I had the Lancero Jesso here. All right, Bob. You had.
Wait a minute. Let me look at this. What is he holding up?
That's the box of the speakeasy. So the speakeasy box, the size that we have is called the Cubano.
Oh, okay.
And this box, unlike the leaf cigars that come in a box of 20, the speakeasies come in boxes of 10.
10. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
25% off, folks. Really.
25% off. Only here. So remember, if you don't go reaching into your pocket a little bit here, I don't know what. I mean, what do we have to do?
Look at the prices he's talking about. I mean, really, cigars $9 a cigar for a bunch of them. Come on.
Back in time here.
And if you liked flavored sticks, you're going to get them for $3 a cigar. Where does that happen?
But the price of a soda these days, right?
And they're not falling off the back of a truck. I can tell you that. This is good stuff, guys. So make sure. What's the phone number?
After the week, those are like I said, full prices, $4.99 for the flavoreds. The leaf line comes full retail from $7.99 to $9.99. The Lancero is an $11 cigar full retail, and then my speakeasy full retail sells for about $17, but again with a 25% off. That's a
good cigar, man. That's a great cigar.
Unbelievable stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody, get yourself ready.
Get yourself ready, folks. But first,
next to you.
This is open to everyone here. So, John, if you think you may know the answer, please feel free to answer. I mean, not that I'm putting extra pressure on you, since you did go to Harvard Business School.
Oh, yeah, rub that in.
You have a leg up on these guys. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there.
Waste management degree. Don't worry about it. Clean up for everybody.
All right. On this date in history, October 25th, 1917. 1917, John. So you got to go back. Bob, he lived this.
Are you ready?
He already knows.
I already don't know. I already don't know. I said.
Oh, you already don't know. Okay. So this October Revolution gained power from the provisional government, and it is celebrated on the 25th of October due to the capture of the Winter Palace. What is this revolution?
The Bolshevik Revolution.
Oh, look at Ronnie. He's not a chooch after all. The Bolshevik, very good, Ron.
Absolutely.
He does like that stuff that has to do with war and revolutions and
communism.
He does know his revolutions. I give him that.
Commie bastard.
All right. Here's one that maybe Bob might know. I'm not going to, it's a little hint for Bob. On this date in history, in 1964, Bob, that's your era where you were smoking everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not just smoking.
The British invasion music continues when this band appears on Ed Sullivan's TV variety show.
Rolling Stones.
The Beatles.
Rolling Stones. Because I said it continues. That was the key word.
First,
Yeah.
you said continue.
Beatles was first.
Of course.
There you go.
There you go.Ronnie, 2 for 2. I don't think this has never happened.
No.
This is it never will again, John. This will never happen, by the way. It won't happen.
His own swag.
I know. He wins his own swag tonight.
He doesn't give anything away.
Let's see if you guys figure this one out. October 25th, 1984, folks. 1984. Following reports from Oxfam.
From where?
What?
Oxfam. OXFAM. Save the Children, Christian Aid, and Red Cross, who believe 10 million people
Live Aid.
are facing starvation in this country.
Africa.
Bangladesh?
Specifically, where in Africa?
Ethiopia.
There we go, Kyle. There we go. There we go. Ethiopia. Very good. Very good. You guys are doing well tonight. I'm kind of surprised.
I know things. I drink. I know things.
I'm still on my phone checking the spelling of Oxfam.
You figure it out that way.
Buco, what?
Okay, on this date in history, in 1933, USA gold buying. This president's policy was inaugurated today with the government paying $31.36 per ounce, which was 27 cents higher than the quotes on the London Gold Exchange. What president?
FDR.
Look at Ronnie. Ronnie, 3 for 4. Look at Ron. John, I'm a little disappointed in you tonight.
So I'm sitting there thinking it's like a math problem. Like Bobby goes to school with 4 apples. Sally goes to school with 3 apples. How many apples does Sally go home with?
One last one for you guys. Ronnie,
36.25 gold.
1 plus 1 equals 1. You
I
know,
was the custodian. You didn't believe me when I said I was the custodian at Harvard. You didn't believe me.
Now I do. Now I do. So, October 25th, 1964.
Oh, is that for the crowd?
No.
Oh, still for us?
One more for us.
Oh, okay. All right. 1964, Bob.
Okay.
Formerly, Northern Rhodesia, the home of the Victoria Falls, becomes the 9th African state to gain independence from British rule. The new president of the country is Kenneth Kaunda from the United National Independence Party.
You know that one, John.
What is this city, state, country called?
1984.
1984.
With the guy asking the question, he doesn't know what he's asking. How is that? City, state, country.
I was making it available for every question. It's rigged. No, it was called Northern Rhodesia. Formerly. Now, what is it called? How's that?
Cleveland. I have no idea.
Listen,
John, the real question was the color of the flower Sally was carrying at that time.
Listen, it's near the place where John bit off more than he could chew with this blend. You told me the Cameroon was a little bit more than you could chew. This place is Zambia.
Yeah, that was my next guess.
Is it Zambia or Zimbabwe?
Zambia, not Zimbabwe. Zambia.
I'll take Zambia rulers for 400.
Wow.
Woo. Wow.
Americano, please.
No, I like John for this segment, though. I like him. He's human. During this segment, he's human. He is. I thought he was gonna ace this. I really did. But maybe
I got 0. I batted 1,000%. I don't even understand half the questions.
And
then I did my job.
All kinds of answers coming to America. I don't know.
In any of these questions, he didn't ask one YouTube question because
That's what we thought we were gonna do. Where's the music with you too, man?
As he's asking all these African questions, I'm thinking to myself, coming to America. I love you, America. I love you. Shut up.
Okay. So
This
now
one
this
goes out
is
to
for the audience
audience.
only.
Okay.
Nobody else.
Vino, man.
All right, Kyle. I'll need you to play the music, please. Kyle, you ready?
He's ready.
We're ready.
Okay, here we go. What is YouTube's Bono? Bono Bono. It's a real name.
John Bono. Bono.
Yeah, you see, not too many people know this. They're going crazy trying to figure this out, though.
Everybody's on their phone.
Everybody's on their phone.
Yeah, that's it.
There's Joey with the resident chooch. Yoko Ono.
Yoko Ono.
Yoko Bono.
Yoko Ono. Yeah, Yoko Ono. Yoko Ono. No. Oh, let's see.
Old David Houghton.
Houston.
Could that be the correct answer?
That
Let
is
me see if John knows this one. Hey, John, is that the correct answer?
That is correct.
There you go.
Chad. All right.
There you go.
Chad Manson.
Chad Manson wins all the whatever it is, all that swag, all that cool shit.
25%.
He asked a question that a normal person can answer.
Hey, Chad, PM me your address, and we'll get that information out to get the prizes out to you. And then again, don't forget 25% all week. Make sure you mention the Great Cigar and Pipe Show, and you're going to get 25% off your items too.
Do me a favor and send me the winner's address, and I will send him a 5-pack of our cigars for free as well.
Oh,
wow. All right.
Congratulations, Chad. John, that's awesome. Beautiful. Thank you so
John.
much for that.
Thank you, buddy.
Chad is like sweet.
Oh, there you go. Welcome to the show, Chad. I think this is his first show. I don't know.
Jono coming through at the end.
There you go, John. John, hey, we want to thank you so much for your time, for your knowledge and all the information.
A lot of
wishing
fun.
you all the best. I hope so. I hope you had some fun.
Had a lot
And
of
we
fun.
are definitely looking forward to doing the exclusive.
Now the question
for
is like,
2023.
how did this stack up to Cigar Authority? I mean, come on.
Listen, the Cigar Authority, I mean, he's not related. How are we going to stack up? The guy has his name. If he says it's bad.
If you watch that podcast, I think we spent about 10 minutes in the beginning of the show talking about how, because each of us pronounces the name differently, we probably spent 10 minutes on the podcast. He said Garafalo. I said Garafalo. Like, it's your show. So you want to call the last name, it's fine. Whatever. No, this was a lot of fun. You guys were first of all, you're very entertaining, but I appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk about my tiny little company, and I'm really glad that you guys enjoyed the cigars. And
absolutely. And I hope it doesn't remain
until the next time. Until the next
cigar out there.
Yeah, we want it out there. We want your cigar out there in more hands because everyone should be enjoying it, not just us. We kind of feel privileged, really, and we want to be able to get it out there.
It's a two-way street, guys. I mean, without you, we're in this industry together in a different way. So I'm happy to support you guys, and I'm thrilled to be asked to be part of this. Ronnie, thank you so much.
No, my pleasure. Thank you for
let's say goodbye, but until the next time. And I had a lot of fun, guys. Really.
Thank
I
you.
have a great
Thank
thing for you on Tuesday nights in your cigar lounges on the TV. You can throw our show on. Just
Well, we close at 8 o'clock Eastern, but
we can rerun our show for 4 years. We got a lot of shows.
Record it and you show it in the morning.
we can definitely rerun this.
Play it at night for the rap
Throw shit
that
at
are running
the TV.
through.
Oh,
Look
shit
at
at it.
these guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you, John.
It's a lot of fun, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
From
Good night,
all
guys. Have a good night.
guys. Next week we got a great show coming again, and next weekend a double back-to-back Friday, Saturday. We're going to be on the road, folks. So JC Newman on Friday, David Blanco's Herf on Saturday. Catch us. We're going to bring you a lot of entertainment, and thank you for all your support. Chad, yes, it is your first time. Congratulations for the rookie win.
You know what? A lot of the times, first-time listeners win.
They do.
They do.
They don't even have Alexa next to us. These are brain people. And Bruce Stark never made it. Come back. I thought for sure Larry Frank was going to pull a quick one on us, but it didn't happen. Anyway, Bruce. Oh, Bruce did make it. He's called. Oh, this is Bruce Andex. Oh, that's his company. Hello, Earthling. You're too late and you lost.
Better luck next week, Bruce.
Salud. Till next Tuesday night, everybody.
Salud.
Thank you.
Good night.
Many of the cigar brands that we make, they're antique, historic cigar brands. They've been made on and off for about 100 years.
When you're smoking Toscano, you're smoking 206 years of history.
The Italians are here.
We're for some reason, we're finding a lot of Italians on this show.
Listen, I'm a Jersey guy.
Hey,
so,
we won't hold that against you.
We invented this we want to give people the opportunity to smoke the cigar at the optimal level.
The Chooch cigar.
Can you believe it?
The Blanco 9 Chooch.
¿Cómo va? ¿Está bien o
¿Qué dice? ¿Cómo está? Finally, I can answer the question. Anything new?
Yeah.
And we have some cool new stuff from Olivan.
This is a passion for me. It's not a job.
Your love and passion for this is,
I love it.
unbelievable.
That's why we can make pipes out of this variety of corn.
11 years ago, I went back. I bought the rights to everything La Polina.
Sure, it's family.
And restarted the brand again as a tribute to my grandfather.
It's nice because you get to see a lot of your friends. You got to remember, I've been doing this for 30 years, so a lot of these people are like family.
Build a platform where we could celebrate boutique cigars.
Leave Starlight House blend for one store in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Join forces of pipe tobacco and
superheroes. I always look forward to the Super Bowl events, and I always look at the trade show as just one of those things.
We're not just selling cigars. We try to live our lives, and we use this as a means to share our stories and to really create community.
Hold on, man. Wow, that was wow, man. You got me.
Tell my brothers to line them up. We'll drink that whiskey from those old dirty cups. We'll toast to the present, the future, and the past. This ain't my first drink, but it ain't my last. 'Cause this world is so beautiful. I see its love come shining through. This world is so beautiful. I see its love come shining.